Hey guys, it's Dr. Evan here. Today we're going to learn how to use a Neti Pot. One of the best things I've seen for sinus issues, obviously. It seems like the Neti Pot does play a huge role in the function of the digestive tract. If you have a postnasal drip coming from up here, it can definitely drop into the stomach, irritating the stomach, shutting off stomach acid, which can set you up for maldigestion, malabsorption, as well as infection type stuff. Like a lot of people are talking about SIBO, a lot of people are talking about SIFO, or I guess they have talked about SIFO. So one of the best ways to prevent yourself from just re-inoculating yourself with stuff that's growing in your sinuses, if potentially there's something growing in your sinuses, is to use a Neti Pot. The other thing too that I've seen is that if the sinuses are swollen and congested, the craniosacral mechanism doesn't work as well as it could. So there's this flexion and extension that happens in the cranium, and so it's not as pronounced as this necessarily, but the frontal bone and the occipital bone in relationship to each other flex around this joint in the middle of the skull. And so as you breathe in, the frontal bone should flare forward a bit, the occipital bone should flare backwards, the temporal bones flare a little bit like this. They don't necessarily move a lot, but that movement of the cranial bones is what facilitates the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. So if this is inflamed, your brain and spinal cord are not going to be nourished the way that they were designed to be or intended to be. And so it seems like using an Neti Pot can definitely impact your nervous system, your craniosacral mechanism, as well as your digestive tract. So it's a big deal. We live in Arizona, I practice in Arizona, so I see a lot of people have sinus stuff. We have dust, we have mold spores, we have exhaust from industry and automobiles that just doesn't really leave the valley. So washing out the sinuses is a big deal. Hopefully I've done a good job selling it. I realize I'm kind of wordy here, but it may seem like a small thing, but it's a big deal. So the first thing, the basic recipe is basically using 16 ounces of distilled water. You can use RO, something that's clean, something that preferably doesn't have brain-eating bacteria in it. Mostly just joking. I think it's worth the risk. This kind of situation, I don't think it's all that risky, to be honest. I know I don't mean to make light of it, but it's I guess it can happen that you can get an infection from using an Neti Pot, but doing the way that I'm going to show you reduces that risk for sure. So 16 ounces of distilled water, RO is okay. The next thing is the Neti Pot. So the Neti Pot is I like the ceramic versions, the squeeze plastic versions. I don't know if they work as well. Like, you're going to squeeze, you're going to get some pressure in there, but you're not going to get the water into every nook and cranny, as far as I know. So the best way, I think, is to use a Neti Pot, use the gravity feed in the sinus, turn your head to the side, and then it'll get everything, it'll wash it all away. Wash away all your, the gunk that's in there. All right, so that's the pot itself. We have the water, we have salt next. I like to use a quarter teaspoon of sea salt. You can use iodized salt. I don't know if it really matters. Some people are using salts that have, or that include the sugar alcohols like xylitol, and those have shown to be antibacterial. People are using those in toothpaste and gums as well. But salt, I think, works fine. It improves the ability of the water to wash away gunk, but I think none of it works as well as it could if you don't add some kind of essential oil. You don't have to use this one. I like this one because it has some frankincense, it has some spruce in it, and that seems to, or juniper I should say, and some spruce actually, and so that seems to open up the third eye, so it makes sense to me to put that in the sinuses. But you can use tea tree oil, you can use something like a citrus oil. A lot of people like lavender. I wouldn't use anything too spicy, like oregano. That might be irritating. In the case that it is, 1 drop of essential oil in 16 ounces of water is too irritating. You can use a toothpick, collect some of the oil on the toothpick, and then stir it into the water, and then that way you're getting less than a full drop. Sometimes if the sinuses are really angry and like intensely inflamed, even 1 drop of essential oil can be harsh, but it doesn't work as well without it, so it's almost not even worth doing without essential oil. So you can change the dose, 1, maybe 2 drops of essential oil, mix it all up, pour it into the Neti Pot. This is 16 ounces of water, so it'll fill 2 pots. So you use the neti through one, and then you use it through, pour it through the other, and that should give you a nice clean sinus feeling, and your gut-brain axis will definitely thank you.